Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from section 2, group 5. So I will present our final project for course DAT10603, Principle of Programming. So before I start the presentation, I will introduce the group member first. So our leader is Nur Syafidah binti Sarif. Next member is Fatin Nadia binti Zainuddin, Nur Dania binti Reza, Nur Adila binti Azari, and lastly is me, Nur Ilya Mardiah binti Muhammad Nasrul. Title of our project is System Borrowing and Returning Sport Equipment. The content of this presentation is project background, problem statement, project objective, project scope, algorithm design, source code, and lastly is the significance of the project. So our group have choose to create a system borrowing and returning sport equipment at Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tun Fatimah. So this system will run when have physical education classes that involve the student who want to borrow the sport equipment. So each class have to send a representative to borrow the sport equipment. So when the student want to borrow the sport equipment, they are need to enter this system and they are required to enter their name and the identity number to identify the borrower. Each class can borrow the various of sport equipment, but has a limit for each sport equipment to borrow, so that other classes can borrow the sport equipment also. Each class that borrowed the sport equipment was given 24 hours to returning back all the equipment, and the borrowing date will be specified automatically according to time on the computer, and all the information that entered by student will be stored in the system. And lastly, admin of sport equipment is given permission to view the sport equipment report by entering specified password.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul binti Reza with matric number AA200684. Next, I will continue with our problem statement. There are few problems that cause Sekolah Menengah Tun Fatimah to create this equipment borrowing system. Before this, they only use traditional way, which is every time students want to borrow equipments, they always need to write every single record in books. They always need to buy new books, new pens, and also a large space to store all of the books. There is also no consistent and structured way to store all of the records, which can cause to unintentional mistake and also careless mistakes. For example, there are few students who return their equipment exceeding 24 hours. Next, our project's objectives are to streamline the process of returning and borrowing equipment in Sekolah Menengah Tun Fatimah. Secondly is to facilitate the stock management of the sports equipment. And lastly is to advance the management of sports equipment by storing borrowers' data.
My name is Fatina binti Zainuddin. My matrix number is AA200484. Now, I will be presenting the project scope. The system of borrowing and returning sports equipment can only be used in Sekolah Menengah Tun Fatimah. The system is merely for borrowing and returning the sports equipment, which can provide ease to students for borrowing and returning them. Next, the administrator is the only party that can authorize the system.
My name is Nur Syafidah binti Sarif and my matric number is AA200435, and today I will be presenting about algorithm design. Okay, next is algorithm design refers to a method or a mathematical problem solving and engineering algorithm. The design of algorithm is part of many solution theories of operation research such as dynamic programming and divide and conquer. There is 9 steps in the development of algorithm. The first one is problem definition. The second one is development of a model. The third one is specification of the algorithm. The fourth is designing an algorithm. The fifth, checking the correctness of the algorithm. 6, analysis of algorithm. 7, implementation of algorithm. 8, program testing. And the last one is documentation preparation.
Okay, next I will tell more about algorithm design. In our program, there is about 15 functions. We also use array to store data. The array that we use is nama, and ID. Nama is to store student's name, and ID is to store ID metric number of student. This array is used in identity function.
Now, I will be presenting the significance of the project. First, the system is to facilitate the process of borrowing and returning the sports equipment in Sekolah Menengah Tun Fatimah. Second, with the system, it is more organized and easy for students to borrow and return them. Third, the system is more efficient because it can store data easily.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning, afternoon, evening or night depending on what time you're watching this. So for today, I will be going to present my group project for course Principle of Programming DAT10603. My group members consist of me, Nur Adila binti Azhari, Nur Ilya Mardia binti Muhammad Nasru, Fatin Nadia binti Zainuddin, Nur Shafida binti Sarif, and Nur Dania binti Rizal. Okay, on this final project, we decide to make this system for a system borrowing and returning sports equipment. We emphasize this project to SMK Tun Fatimah. We do this project to make it easier for students to borrow and returning the sports equipment in the systematically. First, this is the header file. This is a declaration function. This is a function of sports. This is a global variable, and this is an array for name and ID. Okay, in main function, we call the welcome function for starting the program, and in welcome function, which means this is a speech for welcoming the SMK Tun Fatimah students, and this is a speech for user to choose the category. And this is a category which first is borrowing and second is returning. Okay, switch category, which means switch category is for, let's say I choose the first category, which means borrowing. In switch category, for this first category is file function, alatan function, identity function, zip, and list function. For second case, it has a pulangan function. Alright, okay. In the file function, we use the alatan.txt for our speech, and choose any key. And for alatan function is for the user choose the type of sports, and this is the type of sports we have, which means for code 1 badminton, code 2 is bola jaring, code 3 is bola sepak, code 4 ping pong, code 5 bola keranjang. Okay. Okay, in this function which has switch code, for every code, let's say I choose a badminton function. In badminton, The user must choose either racket, jaring or bulu tangkis for borrowing. And then the user must enter the quantity, and the limit of the quantity is do not more than 7, because if the quantity more than 7, it has a error message, and so on. Same goes to the another sports. Okay, underscore it. This is for ping pong, and this is for bola keranjang. Same concept that I. Okay, this is for identity function. For identity function, first I must enter the ID. Second, the name of the students, or else the user students. The user's name. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is a sleep function. This is a variable. This is for clear screen. For pulangan variable, we have the identity function. This is a message that peralatan berjaya dipulang. Terima kasih. This message is replaced when the user did the what should I say? Did the returning the sports equipment. Okay, this is for password ID. This is for password. This is for a report that we borrowing and we returning. Okay, this for the password. Password, we choose the pss.txt. Okay, let's try in command prompt. Okay, now I'm going to we run in the command prompt. Okay, I'm so nervous actually. Okay, I'm going to try. Wait a minute. There are errors. Okay, now we're going to try and run this program. Okay, this that I told you before, this is a message, and this is the message for user to choose the category, and these are the category. Okay, now I'm going to choose category 1, and this is the category 1 that for file function, in file function, and it in the alatan.txt. Okay, now I'm going to show you the alatan.txt that we made. Okay, this in the txt file or text file, and okay, now enter any key. I'm going to enter. Okay, this is the sports equipment. The user must choose the code. I'm going to choose the code for ping pong, and this is the user must choose the code for what equipment they want to borrow it. Okay, now I'm going to choose 3 for major. Okay, I'm enter quantity. Quantity must not more than 7. Okay, I show you if I enter more than 7, I enter 8, enter, and this is an error message. This is an error message, and I'm going to choose 3 for the quantity. And yes, I did it. Anda berjaya menyewa meja. Sila pulangkan sebelum tarikh tamat. Okay, now I'm going to choose no. Okay, now I'm going to enter my ID. Okay, this is my ID, my ID. Okay, this is my name. Okay, finally, this is my ID and my name that I entered before, and this is the time and date today that I do. Okay, this is the message. This is for the message. Okay, enter any key. I enter. Okay, this is for the password. Password before that I tell you before the password in the pss.txt, and now that I show you the password in 1010, and now I enter the first I enter the wrong password. I enter the 200. I enter, and this is an error message for password because I entered the wrong password. Okay, now I enter the true password 1010. Enter. Okay, now this is my record for I borrow it, and this is ending for this program, and I'm we did it. Okay, now I'm going to end the presentation, and I'm going to be sorry because if this video have a mistake, and goodbye. Thank you.